Hey everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of Typical Manga Review is focused on Attack on Titan, Chapter 94, The Boy Inside the Walls. And we open with Gabby jumping out of the train in a dynamic entry that would make Might Guy proud. She proclaims that they have returned to their hometown, Rebellio, which is a name I find ironic. Meanwhile, she's gladly just calling to everybody who will hear that they're all home, we're home. Which is problematic for Colt, who is currently hungover. And it turns out that that's kind of Piek's fault, because apparently she thought, oh, Colt looked like he wanted some. And he played right into your hands, Piek. I can't believe he actually vomited all over the train. You really should have set them up last night. Reiner puts a stop to Gabby, but Colt's kind of paying attention to him. Vice Commander Braun, or Brown, I think is how we do it. They discuss how in Colt's mind, we're hearing about how he took full responsibility for the failed Paratus Island operation and nearly even had the armor taken from him. But he took place in he risked his life in so many successful battles that nobody really does that anymore. Like, nobody wants the armor taken away from him now. He's always showed more loyalty to Marley than any other warrior. But then he's also thinking, what was with him last night? He wants me to save Gabby? Why would he tell that to someone like me? He would have been in danger if anyone at all heard him say those words. But he's also thinking if Brown thinks the same thing as I do, if he wants to save the Eldians from this war. But before he convinced the thought, Gabby's like, what are you planning? Which freaks me out, keep glancing over at me. It's annoying. What is it? I'm reporting this to the unit as a hostile sign of rebellion. Hey, whose fault do you think is? Of course, as soon as he gets a good look at her, he turns away and, whose fault is it? And then the adults start teasing him. It's your fault, Gabby. Look what you've done to him. Which confuses her. What are you even talking about? I didn't do anything to him. And Colt wonders if he can believe Reiner. We see our heroes return. Everyone's kind of looking up at them. They're actually getting marched back into the back past the gates into what I guess is the ghetto area. We're seeing everybody kind of get reunited. We see Piek with someone. We see, I forget their names offhand, but the nerdy guy from the kid group, and so on. We see Zeke greet his grandparents. And because he's done a wonderful job. No, I'm not done yet. Colt and Falco's parents come to greet them. Gabby goes to see her parents, who are apparently Reiner's aunt and uncle. They've heard about Gabby, and it's your bravery saved many lives. We're proud to have you as a daughter. I'm sure you'll grow up to become the greatest warrior of all. And Reiner sees his mother as well. So they are all invited to come home and rest. They're all having celebration. They celebrate the return. We're seeing some Eldian soldiers kind of being led away. They all look maimed or bummed out or things like that, injured. Come on, this way. Can't you walk straight? Colt asks about them. Apparently they're Eldians who survived, who suffered psychological trauma. They don't even have relatives either, so they're going to be treated at this particular hospital. Not amount of attention is paid to one with no leg, who's lost one of his legs. Colt's surprised to hear about this, but it's shell shock. It's just how you spent too long digging trenches on the front lines. All those bullets whizzing by and bombs going kaboom! That's so loud it freaks out one of the guys in line. Poor guy's huddling and just can't, just freaked out. Colt actually tries to help them. Even he also goes to the person I mentioned who's missing a leg and points out that he's got his armband on the wrong arm. It's okay, I'm sure you'll get better. You don't have to fight any longer. You see, at this moment of Colt's compassion, we kind of go to Reiner and Gabby. And Gabby's regaling everybody with the tale of how she pretty much just kicked ass and didn't even bother taking names. And she's telling us, I'll cover this a bit more later, but she's telling us, exactly what she is, like an excitable kid. Like, and all the adults are praising her for all this. It's like I ran toward the hole as fast as I could, and just when I was about to eat lead, Mr. Gallagher protected me with a jaw titan and saved me. They're like giving her like head rubs and like, that's amazing. You're our savior. And Reiner's mother asks if he thinks Gabby can become a warrior. Like, and he's like, yeah, yes. Considering what happened this time, it's all but certain Gabby will be allowed to inherit the armored titan. And she's glad because, and his mom's glad because like to have one family be blessed by two warriors is amazing. And everyone's proud that Marley's recognized both of them. And all this stuff to wipe out the damn devils who live on that island, and then all aliens will be able to live good lives. At this point, Gabby's like, "It's okay, Aunt Karina. Us warriors will protect aliens from those island devils. Don't worry." Thank you, Gabby. We may have won the war, but still, there's no telling when those island bastards are going to come to destroy our world. Yes, you can't blame the rest of the world for fearing aliens given the situation, right, Reiner? Even you were just barely able to keep those island devils alive. Escape from those island devils alive. You, the armor of the Marleyan army, the greatest force in the world. You guys know you should not ask him that. Like Gabby's like, I told you anything about what happened on the island is classified. That only the top of the army is allowed to know, remember? And it's hard on Reiner. And Reiner takes notice that Gabby's like, you spent 5 years on the island, like, where those cruel devils live, right? Even if it wasn't classified, it'd be hard to talk about what happened from there. And they were like apologizing to him about this, but it's like Reiner's like, it's fine. Some things I can't say. And I infiltrated the army on that island. It was true hell. Everyone there really was a devil. All of them cruel and barbarous. Like the time to our induction ceremony, that someone suddenly started eating a potato. When our instructor yelled at her, she answered without hesitation. She said she stole it because it looked tasty. Even that villain must have realized he was in a bad spot. So she tried to buy the instructor off with half of the potato. Or so she said, but she even had the gall to only offer him a tiny bit of it, not even close to half. None of them know the meaning of the word compromise, you see. Yes, they were all hopeless. One idiot who went to the bathroom only to say he forgot what he went in there to do. An irresponsible jerk who only ever thought of himself. And a way too responsible jerk who only ever thought of others. Someone who only thought of revenge and those who followed him. And alongside all those different people stood us. You see Reiner, Berthold, and Annie there. The days I spent there were true hell. But Gabby's like confused for a moment. It's like, different people? What do you mean? They're all bad, right? But before Reiner can recover from his scaff, like his mother's like, that's right. Only devils live on the island. Devils who turned the world into hell and built their own utopia on a mountain of corpses. But we are different. We aliens from the continent devoted our lives as we atone for the unspeakable history we brought to Marley. Because we are virtuous aliens. There's no telling when the islanders will use their powerful titans to launch an attack on the world and crush it underfoot. We must be the ones to prevent them from doing that. Because only then will the world recognize us as good people. And as he's doing this, the guy was like, yes. We must punish the ones who left us here as they escaped to the island, the ones who abandoned us. And as Reiner lies in bed, he's thinking to himself that he's flashing back to when he was a little boy, like we were abandoned. That's why we live in this walled concentration camp. Because inside of us is the blood of devils who once did very bad things. If we're not caged up, we'll only bother everyone. That's why your father isn't here either. Because your father's a Marleyan. It's very against the rules for a Marleyan to have a child with an alien. So, this is a secret, okay? Like, we can't be together with him because we're aliens and are descended from devils. And we see her actually crying. It's like, if only you were born to a Marleyan. And we see that was pretty much his motivation for joining the army. Like, back then I wanted to become a warrior so I could be a Marleyan like with my mother. We're seeing them kind of go through their basic training. And you see the first one kind of make it through that, like they're doing like a march to the weather, like Marcel Galliard, you pass. They're doing sharpshooting and Reiner can't do squat, but Berthold Hoover, you pass. And we see Annie just like taking Reiner down with martial arts, like impeccable, Annie Leonhardt, impeccable, you pass. Then we see that Reiner pretty much only succeeds off of his classwork. But he does declare that he was chosen to be a warrior candidate. Now we're only a step away from being honorary Marleyans. Yeah. And he swears he'll inherit one of the 9 Titans. Meanwhile, we go forward a little bit further. We see our new candidates actually training. Did you guys know this is Zeke now? It's like we'll be attacking Paratus in a few more years. Time has come for us to inherit the Titans. The war with the South will be decided soon, and time for us to become warriors is approaching. So however, they'll be reorganized in the warrior unit as part of the army's new structure. Out of us 7 warrior candidates, 6 will be made into warriors all at once. And Reiner's glad because this means he can become a Marleyan. Like, you didn't do anything. You're obviously the weakest in the group. This guy's like, if one person's getting left behind, it's going to be you. And I think that's the current Jaws Galliard. I forget it. I don't know if we've got his first name or not, though. And apparently the only thing Reiner had going for him is that he's pretty much just declared his loyalty in all of his written work. Like, I respect you for that. You make sure to lick the captain's boots every single day. Yes, sir, I'll kill those devils, sir. Next, we end up getting into a big old fight. Next, gets shoved down. It's like, yeah, he gets knocked down. It's kind of like, trying to think of, it's got a reading page here. He gets knocked down. Like everybody else leaves him except for Bertholdt, like who helps him stand up. Like, I can't wait 13 years. Like, I want to become a Marley and live together with my mom and dad. What do you mean? I can't say. We don't know who's going to have to wait yet. Like Porco doesn't choose who inherits a Titan. The Marleyan army does. Oh, okay. Porco Galliard. Okay. But he's right. If I'm at the bottom of the group, I think loyalty is important, right? Don't you agree, Annie? But she's like hunched over, apparently like coughing up blood. Like what? I wasn't listening. Come on, let's go. And Bertholdt's like, are you okay with that? If that's your goal. You'd only have 13 years, you know. But then I'd be a hero, right? If I could punish the devils on Paratus who strike fear into all of us, I'd be able to save the alien people, no, the whole world. And then I'd make my parents the proudest of all. And then as we see Bertholdt and Reiner kind of jogging away, we cut away to like Aaron at around the same time looking up at the sky like, wish something would happen. Oh, there you are, Aaron. And the chapter ends with this little side by side of Reiner on one area and Aaron on the other. But that is where things end. And alright, first of all, one thing that has been disturbing the hell out of me in this whole big section here, Gabby and them are freaking tiny. I mean, I knew they were young, I knew they were kids, but I always thought they were teenagers. I mean, next to Reiner and them, like, they barely look like they don't even look like they're in their teens. And yet there they are, like just blowing shit up and winning wars. I mean, like I said, it's like she's having dinner with her family, talking about how she risked her life in battle, as if she was like just talking about how, like, all excitable, like a little kid, like a kid talking about like, you got to hear about this tree I climbed today, or something. I don't know, some nonsensey thing like that. And they're all praising her for this. Like, as I've seen it mentioned in a couple of spots here, Reiner's family has definitely drunk the Kool-Aid. They are all for supporting Marley. They're all for destroying the aliens of Paratus, where Aaron and them are. I mean, seriously, this environment and encountering those guys there, no wonder Reiner went crazy. And it's definitely, and it seems like he's still conflicted even now after all this time. Like after what 4 years it's been. It's like we definitely got a proper time skip date now if we hadn't before. Let's see here, trying to. And I guess what we're seeing right now is that the one Galliard, the one that bullied Reiner, is the one who didn't get picked at around that time. Because they're talking about like making 6 of them Titans all at once, But this does mean at least that we're still down one Titan. I mean, I mentioned this I think with Ymir, but like, we've got the, since it's used a Jaws Titan now it's Galliard, so or Porco rather. So there's still one Titan unaccounted for, so I guess that's going to be a big thing to come up later. So what interesting thing I've been hearing about, I'm kind of behind on the anime. I think the last episode I watched with the anime club I go to on Sundays, we just did the one where Reiner and Berthold reveal themselves as the Armor and Colossal Titans. So this week will be when that fight starts. So yay! But apparently, like, they've been giving hints to Ymir's and Marlene's history like way earlier. Like, so we're getting a lot more foreshadowing about this than we did originally. So that's definitely something that'll definitely be something to see when we get there. It's kind of funny actually, like, because like a couple of people there like anime only watch it, they don't follow the manga like anyone listening to this has. So it's like I can tell them, but they don't want me to tell them, so I'm not telling them. It's like I so can. So for the closest I've done is show them the cliffhanger picture where we see like the photograph of Aaron, Dina, and Zeke. That family photo. Humanity has not perished. I showed them that one. That's as far as I've gotten as far as Spoiler Town goes. It's really kind of weird to me that all this time and there are people who never did anything but follow the anime. It's like, I mean, it'd be one thing if there's like pretty steady progression going, but how much time passed between the first and second season? And there's all this manga to read in between. I would never be able to wait for that. I would never wait for that. I could not. I mean, how do people do that? So I guess we can. I wonder what's gonna be going on with Colt because like he's very obviously like people have been calling Reiner the Armin of his group, and now we're seeing that Colt is kind of the same thing in his case. One thing I have seen some passing around mention though, the amputee person that with missing leg that Colt helped, the one who had the armband on the wrong arm. There are people suggesting that could be Aaron, like Aaron infiltrating the Marlene camps. That'd be quite impressive if so, because it would make sense because he looks alien. He's probably like, and of course he looks alien. He's alien, but he and Armin are probably the only two who would be able to shrug off a lost limb. And when it turns into a fight, Aaron's a little better suited for it than Armin is. Though we do see that he is able to wield the Colossal Titan now. We saw that last month. So I'm interested to see if those theories are right, because we don't see his face. That's for starters. We don't see his face. He's getting things wrong, basic things wrong, like what arm he wears the armband on. And, like I said, as I mentioned a moment ago, he's like the one person in all the other cast that can shrug off a missing limb. Especially if he can hold off on getting it to regenerate. Which I think is something like Rainer was able to do. Like when he was like, his arm was busted up, he didn't recover until he was ready to. So that'll be impressive to see. And it'll be impressive to see, like, one thing I liked in this chapter though is like Reiner like talking about all these past events and like casting them in the worst light, like stuff that we found hilarious at the time, like Potato Girl, like the whole Potato Girl incident, casting them off as like some act of degeneracy. But yet it's actually completely true. Like every word he says is correct. I'm always fond of saying it's all in the delivery or all in the presentation, and Reiner has proven that point today. So I get and we see that the kind of the issues between Jaws, Galliard, and Reiner, like they go far back. Here. And apparently, like, Pieck is also like noted for her brains, like intellect, so that's probably part of her thing too. Like they were kind of. There's a scene I kind of glossed over where like Porco is going over him about all the what Reiner has to bring to the offer to the table. Like Marcel's a good soldier, Berthold's a marksman, and he's a fighter. Pieck's a has brains, but he's got nothing but his loyalty to Marley, which we're gonna say I think it's clear that they consider that to be the most important thing. So, like I said, we're definitely in an interesting position here. Like, what's like Gabby is pretty thoroughly brainwashed by the looks of it here. So if she encounters like the aliens, it's gonna be like quite a shock to her. See here, Colt seems to be like if anyone's gonna be a potential ally here. I mean, Gabby or Colt could go either way. Like Gabby could just like flip if she meets like an island alien who isn't evil, but Colt looks like he could be potentially sympathetic. So that'll be one thing to see where it goes out. Like they're the two like main kids, I think. Like Udo, that's the glasses one's name. I should remember earlier. Like Falco, Udo, and I think there's one other girl. Like they're not anywhere to go just yet. Let's see here. Anything else I need to mention? Like we do know that Grandpa and Grandma Jaeger are still alive, so that'll be something for Aaron if he is there. Definitely something for Zeke, that's for sure. I wonder if that's something we'll see, like if Aaron will approach them and kind of get a different take on what he read from Grissa's point of view. I would say right now that the biggest reason they wouldn't have Aaron there is because like he's too valuable to risk. Then again, it's hard to say. I mean, you never know where this kind of could go. Alright. So I think I've got everything covered. I kind of wanted to bring up in detail. Yeah, we're running this a little longer than I wanted to in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and call the review here. So that was. Also, I'm going to say like one little highlight as far as the chapter goes was Gabby at the very beginning just busting out like Might Guy style. Like Guy would be proud. It is exactly the kind of thing he loves. See here. Kind of getting a chapter name for myself here so I can. Here we go. And this has been the typical manga review of Attack on Titan, chapter 94, The Boy Inside the Walls. Which I wonder who they're referring to. I mean, it's likely Reiner, but we also have Colt. We could even have Aaron and. Oh, hang on a second. Now I'm really curious. Hang on. Holding off on calling the end of the review here. I want to check something here really quick, if I can. Oh, maybe I can't. What was the first chapter of Attack on Titan called now? I'm wondering. Like, was it also called something like The Boy Behind the Walls? Because that seems like way too much. Given the side by side of them at the end there, now I am legitimately curious. See if I can find chapter 1 just real quick somewhere. Because, let's see here. No. Crunchyroll just has the most recent volume chapters that haven't been put into a volume yet. I think they go back to far back as the 60s. 58. Okay. It is gonna bug me until I check it now. Okay, no, I thought it might be a thing here, but no. First chapter is called like To You 2,000 Years From Now. Something like that. Alright, well, I thought there might be a thing there, but never mind. Alright, so with that, the review of Attack on Titan 94 is done. Until next chapter, see you later, and bye-bye.